you can do is not have debt. If you have debt, pay it off. That needs to be a priority, not a new car that you're going to have to be paying off for the next 10 years. This may not be America in 10 years.
Well, Stuart, you can live a lavish lifestyle if you work for the California state government, which we've already discussed previously. But like you said, yes, inflation is hitting us hard. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you can trust their numbers, maybe on this we can, their consumer seasonally priced index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs hit an all-time high in May. And so that's your inflation right there. We're seeing record high prices for all these staple foods across the board. And we're going to continue to see it. And it may not be that the food cupboards are dry in this collapse. It'll be that the food cupboards are stocked, but you can't afford any of the food on those shelves unless you work for the California state government.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why even have a job at this point if you're not working for the government? Because we're all just going to be working for the government. That's the whole plan, is that we're going to be forced into slavery instead of creating new things, new industries, being ingenuitive, inventing things, and having freedom. No, it's you work for the corporate government, and that's what it is. It's a corporate government. And people don't really realize that there's huge multinational corporations that don't pay taxes, but small businesses are taxed to death so that the pathway to wealth, to real wealth, is eliminated. If you can eliminate small business, you eliminate the pathway to wealth. If you're not a select insider, if you're not willing to sell your soul to the devil, literally, you will not have wealth. Okay? So the government salaries, it needs to, and some even congressmen actually have said that they don't get paid enough. And I completely disagree. They're public servants, okay? And even if they were making $40,000 a year, I mean, still, you got to factor in all the lobbying and the backdoor deals that they're doing, which is just happens. It's pretty much on record that it happens all the time. So it's an open secret.
John D. Rockefeller was once famously quoted as saying, "All competition is a sin." And you see that attitude from these globalist multinational corporations. They don't want entrepreneurship and a free market economy in America. They want control and the controlled collapse of this economy. Part of that controlled collapse, besides the whole economics, and this plays into economics, is the illegal immigration. As we covered on this show last week, we're not being racist, mean-spirited, or hateful to not want illegal aliens to come in this country who have no skin in the game. They've never paid anything into the system to get free education, free health care, free housing subsidies, free transportation, preferences on jobs, preferences on government contracts, preferences on loans, and on it goes, to preferential treatment to people who have contributed nothing to this country, Stuart. It boils my blood. I want illegal immigrants to come here and do it right like everybody else has to, follow the law, and I'm your number one fan. But if you do it illegally, the way the government's doing it now, you need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Well, by them coming in illegally and taking entitlements, it destroys all of our liberties, and it's going to destroy theirs. Getting something free is actually not always a good thing. It's most of the time it's not a good thing getting something for free, because you know what's expected of you when you get something for free? To be a slave. Imagine if everyone on welfare was just cut off tomorrow. Well, you're literally a slave to anyone that can provide for you, because you can't provide for yourself. You haven't learned, and you haven't saved, and you haven't worked hard. So you are going to be a slave. Free, when you're offered something for free, it's almost always never good. It's almost always never a good thing. So it's because politicians are preying on this illegal immigrant class to literally bankrupt the entire country and bring in the North American Union.
Cloward and Piven.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break, brought to you by our sponsor, FresnoForward.com.
Listen up, Fresno. Are you tired of boring local news coverage? Then log on to FresnoForward.com, the Central Valley's #1 source for independent, local, and alternative news and views. FresnoForward.com is updated daily, bringing you stories on government corruption, local activism, Fresno culture, and so much more. Did I mention FresnoForward.com has no ads or signups required? FresnoForward.com. You'll love it.
And we're back, folks, going into segment 3. Sam?
Yeah, you can see this immigration issue is balkanizing the country, and that's part of a well-known plan used by the English Empire to break up countries so they can never unite and see who the true enemy and threat is. They're using that same formula here through Cloward and Piven, balkanization, to help divide America, to bring in these voters who are going to vote progressive, liberal, whatever you want to call it. I call it communist, globalist. They're going to vote against the Bill of Rights and Constitution because they have never been properly assimilated to America.
And we harp on this, and we're going to continue to harp on this. Federal Reserve, Federal Reserve, Federal Reserve. How do you think we are able to pay for all these entitlements and all this debt, all these wars? It's fake wealth that we've stacked up, and as the dollar is now not being used in certain countries, it's going to continue to fall, and we're going to see the effects of inflation, hyperinflation, the fake creation of wealth. And you know what? We're all going to pay for it, the laboring class, not the elites. So the people that are getting stuff for free, it's not even what you're getting for free. It's an illusion. It's going to end. It has the Federal Reserve notes that they're printing and giving to you so you can buy food don't have any real value. And if you don't know that, well, good luck when the dollar has absolutely no value and people are burning it on the streets.
It's fiat currency. It'll go the way of a Zimbabwe dollar, which I have $1 trillion note, which is, like Stuart said, worth about as much as toilet paper. And that's where the American dollar's going. The rest of the world is already hip to the game, and they're slowly divesting themselves away from it. And we will see here in America our standard of living continue to decrease as prices rise. Moving on here to another story that's very troubling, Stuart, and like we've been covering the VA scandal here. In San Diego, the Department of Homeland Security, they listed returning veterans as the #1 threat in this country. That's the Department of Homeland Security. It's online, all over the place. Look it up. Most recently, at a VA hospital in San Diego, 20 officers from DHS, Federal Protective Services, went on a presence deterrence sweep of the VA facility, essentially raiding it. Men with black suits and 4 bomb-sniffing dogs went into the facility asking questions, and anyone who took pictures or asked them questions was silenced, Stuart. And these are our veterans who have defended our Constitution and Bill of Rights against tyranny all over the world being abused by the Department of Homeland Security. That's part of the collapse right here. It just happened this week.
Since when has it become okay to literally terrorize our veterans in the hospital while they're in the hospital trying to get the care, which they probably won't get because we know how government healthcare works, trying to get the care that they need because they served our country, and that's what we promised them when they went and put their life on the line. And this is why I harp on the police state and conservatives. Please get over yourself. Stop being naive. We are witnessing a police state in America right now, currently. Cops have a license to kill. I'll be honest. I'm going to be real cordial with cops because I literally feel that they have a license to kill me for whatever reason if they felt threatened. Okay, that's all they have to say. I felt threatened for my life. No, I mean, it doesn't even matter. At that point, they're going to be proven innocent. Okay, so the conservatives, we need to understand that there is a balance when it comes to public servants and then people that just have the license to kill. Okay, there's definitely needs to be some sort of balance at this point when our police officers and Department of Homeland Security federal officers are just walking into veterans hospitals. And remember, because they're the #1 terrorist, walking in and terrorizing the hospital and doing sweeps and just saying, oh, and you can't take pictures. It's ridiculous. Wake up. We live in a police state, and they don't care if you're a veteran, okay? The police state does not care if you're a veteran because you are the enemy, okay? If you fought for the Bill of Rights and Constitution, you are the enemy.
Like, Stuart, I want the rule of law and order just as much as anybody else, but they The Department of Homeland Security is a terrorist organization, and they're listing the guys who have already fought for this country for real liberty and freedom against domestic enemies. They are treating them as the number one terror threat. And like a disabled veteran that we interviewed a couple of weeks ago said, the reason why he thinks is because they are the leaders and they have the training and skills to rally the people to stand up against the tyrannical government. And so that's a perfect reason why. But now I'm going to shift gears here into the war abroad in Iraq that they're trying desperately to get us into. I'm going to read to you from War is a Racket, published by Smedley Butler, who at the time of his death was the most highest decorated Marine the U.S. military had ever seen. Okay? The first lines of his book go like this: war is a racket. It always has been. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one international in scope. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. And so I suggest everybody to go pick up a copy. It's a thin book, but a lot of great wisdom from Major General Smedley Butler. War is a racket.
War is a racket, and we all know that at a root level, at a gut level. Does the average person want to go blow stuff up or shoot people? No. And what they want you to think is that people in other countries want to do the same to us, okay? And on average, the general population wants to go about their lives and have children, have a job, and be prosperous any way that they can. So it is the elites that hate competition, like Rockefeller said, competition is a sin. They hate the fact that we just want to go about our lives and live cordially with each other and be prosperous. They can't stand that. They need to control, and they need to dominate. So people that promote the war, well, you know what? Pick up a gun, go over there and get on the front lines. Don't send an 18-year-old that just got out of high school over there to do the job that you're promoting, that you're telling other people we have to do in order to keep us safe. Why don't you go over there? I don't care if you're over 50. I don't care if you're 70 and saying it. You go over and do it. If you've never been in a war before and you're promoting war,